Hey guys, this is the Excalibur food dehydrator. I prefer fire, charcoal, smoke to cook, preserve, make jerky, and so on. But it's my understanding that originally this machine was like $269. My wife is into the preservation of food and so forth, and she saw this on sale at one of those local, I don't know what you call them, discount stores for $79. So she ran right out and bought it. This is the Excalibur. The model is the 3526T. It's a 5-tray, 400 watt. I've used it a couple of times. You know how guys are. They have to, as soon as something new comes in the house, they have to rip it open and check it out. So that's what I did. And so far I've done apples, yellow squash, and tomatoes. And I have to tell you that I was pretty impressed with especially the tomatoes. I love tomatoes. Doesn't matter how they're made, prepared. I love tomatoes. So I'm going to do a quick demo. It's not actually quick. It'll be a quick video, but it's going to take probably 7.5, 8 hours to do this. So I'm hoping my electric bill isn't $1,200 when I get it next month. But anyway, the machine comes with this cool little book. And it's got 2 languages. I believe this one is Spanish. Looking for a word that I recognize. Maybe it's French. No, I think it's Spanish. Anyway, it's got an English version in the front. And it tells you the approximate cook time, the texture of the food once it's finished, and it has a lot of stuff in here. Apples, berries, cherries, rhubarb, beans, beets, broccoli, corn, eggplant, peppers, peas, onions, summer squash, tomatoes, turnips, and so on. So I'm not going to waste your time. It comes with the 5 trays, and each tray has one of these plastic, I guess it's some sort of plastic. And just a heads up, I did stick all the trays in these grates, I guess you could call them, in the dishwasher prior to use. Now I did find the first batch, I'm sorry, I wrenched my back cutting firewood the other day, and when I move a certain way it hurts. When you put anything on these, I give them a quick shot of Pam, and it truly prevents the food from sticking to them. The first one I did nothing to other than run them through the dishwasher, and I needed a jackhammer to get them off. So what I'm going to do is I've got these 3 plum tomatoes, and I did wash my mittens, so we're all good there. And I mentioned this knife in one of my other videos that I got at Walmart, $4 for a pair. I bought 2 pair. One I sharpened, 1 pair I sharpened, 1 I didn't. So I'm not sure. This might be the one that I sharpened. I see some scratches, but who knows what the wife does with them when I'm not around. So what I'm going to do is, and this cutting board I made 4 or 5 years ago. It was my first attempt. It's made out of birch, and I put this little cut in it and clamped it and did all that kind of stuff. But anyway, this is my own cutting board. I didn't buy this. So I'm going to cut the ends off. And it says to cut the tomatoes, I believe it was 1/4 inch thick. So I'm going to try and do that. And these are pretty good tomatoes. And hopefully I only will need the 2 trays that I currently have cleaned. So that's probably a little less than 1/4 inch. Actually, the thinner they are, the less time they take to dehydrate. And I'm going to show you what I do to them here in a second. And I think because they're condensed, so to speak, after they're finished, man, they are so good. And when these are done, I'm going to show you, obviously, what they look like. And this is my first time in this little setup here to try and focus on what I'm doing and not everything around me. I shut off anything that makes noise. Just so you can enjoy my presence. There's a mistake. Just so you can enjoy my presence and not all the surrounding ambience. Okay, now typically what I would do, but for the purpose of this video I'm not going to do it, I would lay these out on a paper towel and pat both sides dry to expedite the drying process. But as I said, I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to lay them out, and it doesn't matter if they touch because they're going to shrink down and they're not going to stick to one another. Now, I watched a few reviews on this, and people said that it's noisy, they had to put it in the garage. I'm not sure what kind of household everyone lives in, but I don't think it's that noisy. And actually I'm going to put that in the second one because sometimes they curl. The top rack, when they curl, it hits the top of the machine when you try to pull them out. So I'm going to do the second rack and 1, 2, 3, the fourth rack. So yeah, I knew 2 would be plenty. And this guy here is pretty thick, so he's going to come out whacked. Okay. One thing I thought was a little weird is the door is completely removable. It just kind of hangs there. But then I thought that it needed some kind of vent to dispel the moisture. So I'm guessing that's why they did that. Now, this is one of my favorites, Nature Seasons. And true to my nature, no pun intended, I add to this entire thing, which is 7.5 ounces, I put in as much garlic as will fit when I first buy it. Shake it up really well, and that's all I add to it. I'm not a salt fan unless it's on fries. So what I'll do is I'll take this Nature Seasoning with the garlic that I added, and I will sprinkle it on top of these tomatoes. And I keep looking because this is the first time I've done this setup with a video, and I want to make sure you all can see what I'm seeing. And I'm not bashful about how much I use. Oh, did I mention, you know, I'm getting airheaded in my old age, I guess. But in the bottom, there is a drip catch, but it's not removable, so it would be a pain in the neck to clean. So I put a piece of parchment paper down here to catch anything that drips. And I'll tell you, the use that I've given it, it's very minimal. I'm surprised. I thought it would be a lot of drippings and so forth, but it really isn't. My wife is going to be like, what did you do to those? Okay. I want to keep the old mittens clean. So the door is here, and basically it's got the stickers on it, and it just hangs. There's a lip here. I don't know if you could see that in the video, but there's a lip here, and the door just kind of hangs on that. And because I have OCD, or so I think I do, I have to make sure it's centered, and the gap is the same on both sides. I'm sure it doesn't matter. And even though I've already done the tomatoes, I'm going to look in the book. And let's see, 5 to 9 hours. They should be, the texture should be leather or brittle. And up here on the control panel, there is, on this model, there's a timer and there's a temperature control. So you have the option to set the temperature for herbs, living foods. I don't know that you'd want to put living food in there. Maybe. I'm not sure what it is. Bread, yogurt, vegetables, fruits, fruit rolls, meat and fish, and jerky. So technically they say tomatoes aren't a vegetable, they're a fruit, and they're saying 135 degrees. So I'm going to play it safe, and we're going to set this for about 130 because vegetables is 125. And then we're going to turn the timer on. I'm going to set it for 6 hours, and then I'll check it. And after that, we'll be back. And I mean, I'm sure you can hear that, but it's not like a broken chainsaw idling in the kitchen while it's making this. It's not that loud. It's quieter than a microwave. Actually, it's quieter than my microwave anyway. And I have a fairly new Maytag, I think it is. So I'm absolutely fine with the amount of noise because I started with this in my kitchen, but now I'm in my man cave, so to speak, for the purposes of this video. But it will wind up back in the kitchen eventually. Maybe. So we're going to let this chug along and we'll be back, guys. Hang in there. This is really worth it. I was surprised. Hey guys, it's been about an hour or so, and I know this is really premature, but I'm so busy right now that they kind of look the same, but things are going to expedite quickly. Well, maybe not super quickly, but you'll see. I can't attest to the longevity of this machine, but for what it does, and I'm dying. I'm a hunter, and it's deer season now for archery, and I'm really hoping I finally got off my procrastinating butt and applied for my doe permit this year, which I got. So this year I really am confident. I only hunt on my own property, and I only have 13 acres, so I don't have a lot of options here. But I plan on doing the deer and making some venison jerky. And this machine is going to be the ticket. So I'll be back hopefully in the next hour or so. Show you what the progress of these tomatoes are. Hey guys, my apologies, but I got jammed up and I never made it back here until a bit after they were finished. But here they are. And I know you're not supposed to store them in a Ziploc bag, but this is all I have at the moment. I plan on getting and this food preservation is expensive. I plan on getting a vacuum system so that I can put them in not Ziploc, but mason jars and remove the air, so forth. I'll probably do a video. You know I'm going to do a video on that too. But this is what they look like when they're finished, and it was about almost 6 hours. I cut them fairly thin, but I gotta tell you, especially with that nature seasonings with the garlic added, they are so flavorful that it's not even funny. If you're thinking about a dehydrator, I believe this Excalibur unit is an older unit, but so far I've got zero complaints with it, and I really like the way it performs. So hopefully this helps somebody out, and you guys have a great night, and we'll talk soon. Take care.